The mess behind me. I'm covering up
Oh,
right now, so you can't actually see.
yeah.
What was it? Did you
So
bump
how you
it or
position the camera. I grabbed this the mic cord and it
cord?
just because it's on a gimbal, so it just ripped it over to the side.
Rip. Yeah, those gimbals. So
Whoopsies.
I had the DJI, the DJI one Osmos, and it
Hmm.
was all metal, super burly, really nice gimbal. And then I
Yeah.
picked up the three. The two I didn't think was very much of a change, so I decided to
Hmm.
just wait, skip on the two, go to the three because the three was really a lot different because it folded up and it had a different system. You can attach a mic to the
Yeah.
side because it's not backing up against the stop. So I
Hmm.
thought that was kind of cool, but the functionality of the one was actually better. I thought the stability
Really.
control was better, the balance was better, it moved
Uh-huh.
better. Yeah, it just like when you flow and move around. The old one actually flowed better. The DJI 3 Osmos, it doesn't rotate as nice and it gets stuck sometimes, and then it's like
Yeah.
then you move it and then it
Yep.
goes rare, and then it's just like, oh my gosh, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's
it's
what I have, the three. And yeah, it'll sometimes, like, if there's any pressure on it, it just goes nuts. It just starts
yeah,
flopping all over the place. And
and and every time you attach the three, you actually have to have it balanced. You have to position a certain
yeah.
way so the camera, so it's like easier on
Yep.
the motors and things like that. Um, I really love the four is just out. They just released the four, and I was like, oh man, now what?
Oh,
So the
nice.
difference between the four and the three is that the four has a mounting system that mounts to the phone, and it magnetically clicks to the gimbal. So you don't ever have to
Okay.
rebalance anything. It just kind of magnetically attaches, and then you can detach it, and
Yeah.
the phone
Huh.
carries the little case that clips
Yeah.
onto the new DJI. So kind of cool. I don't think I'm
Huh.
going to get it just because I don't use the gimbal as much. Before, when I worked at JC, I used the gimbal at
Yeah.
every race, doing the live
Yep.
things at every single heat, qualifier, main, you name it. I was using the gimbal quite a bit. Now, I got to focus on you guys and watch the racing and sometimes be a pit man. So I don't get to gimbal and do the race recording like I used to. Maybe in the future when everything's kind of smooth, rolling and smooth, I can maybe go back to doing some live video and commentating and stuff like that. So we'll see. It'll take some time, but I want to say, hey, we lost our stopwatch. There it is, live 3 minutes. So we're 3 minutes in. I wanted to just
There you go.
welcome everybody to the TLR live show. We took a couple weeks off because we were kind of busy with the racing and the schedule. You've had 3 weeks in a row. I've done 2 weekends in a row with you on
Yeah.
Turf Nationals, Southern Nationals, and then you went and did a hangout at Victory RC, the championship there. And it looks like that race is going to be pretty big. It was 200 entries and um, looked awesome, man. The track looked really cool. The
Yeah.
surface looked challenging towards the end. It looks like it might be a good solid race there in the Midwest.
Yeah, for sure. I'm getting distracted. My dog's couch surfing right now. He's trying out all the couches right now, trying to figure out his favorite spot. He knows
Oh,
he's in here for
dude,
the long haul.
he's trying to get
But yeah, no,
comfortable.
it was a great weekend. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
we'll
a it was
get
a great
more.
weekend. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, get
Yeah,
more
we'll
into
get
it.
more into the details. So the menu right now is going to be, we're going to talk about the first race that we had, Turf Nationals in Connecticut. Awesome race there. The second race we're going to talk about after that is the Southern Nationals, which was a quick transition. Basically, I was home for a day, switched the gears, and then you came over, and then we carpooled down to Louisiana.
Yep.
That was an adventure, and then I got some photos from that trip. I'm going to share with everybody here some insider photos. Not something I usually post, or not all the stuff I post gets put on the TLR stuff, just because they're not really so professional or just don't really have that kind of place. But since everybody's watching and kind of clued into this live show, we're gonna show some other photos that I took on my phone during the trip. Had a great time, and then finally we're gonna wrap up the show with Dakotah being a pit guy at the Victory RC 8-scale championship race there
Yep.
in Ohio. So let's first talk about Turf Nationals, man. What did you think going in? Because when I brought up the idea, hey, Dakotah, let's go to this Turf Nationals race. Most of you guys won't really know this, but Dakotah wasn't really into the idea. I could tell. And he was just like, eh, So before going to Turf Nationals, what were some of your apprehensions? What were some of your worries going into to race turf, something that you haven't done since 2015?
Yeah, and I mean that was really most of it. Honestly, was just the fact that I haven't done it in so long. I mean, probably last 5 years or so. So the cars have changed a lot. The setups have changed a lot since then. So pretty much going in with zero experience, zero. I don't want to say zero knowledge, but not really much knowledge as far as turf and setting up cars for that goes. And I honestly, I don't want to go to a race if I don't feel like I'm going to be prepared. So it was a little definitely wasn't sure exactly what to expect. Obviously, it was a great outcome, but we didn't really know that for sure going into it. We had some good base setups to start with, and it all worked out.
I knew the results before we went. I kind of had a feeling of how we would do based on the previous races we've been to. Before Dakotah, before I joined TLR, we had a few races together on the JC side of stuff. So I was kind of aware of your speed potential and the potential and how you like to drive the car. I knew that turf and carpet would be right up your alley. We just had to kind of get the cars to have the pace to be able to kind of run up front with everybody. And so for not many people know this, but Dakotah wasn't really looking forward to the race weekend, and lack of experience, uncertainty on car setups. We didn't really have a turf setup or anybody really racing turf at that time, so we didn't have any base to go off of. But I've been there 3 times. I was pretty confident in what kind of changes needed to be made, what things we needed to play with to get the cars to that winning pace. The 2-wheel, people say that the TLR car is hard to drive when it's high bite. I didn't really. I mean, watching your 2-wheel, it didn't look tipsy or it was really well mannered on the track. Surprisingly, it wasn't tippy. It wasn't edgy. It wasn't driving on pins and needles sometimes where you can just barely turn the wheel and you feel like the car is going to flip off the track. It didn't do that, and I think that was kind of a surprise to you, that the car was actually very good on the turf.
Yeah, honestly, the tool drive was absolutely awesome. We made a couple small changes here and there, but kind of just with just some knowledge that we had talked about and stuff. Zeke had a pretty good starting setup for Astro. He's running at more a lot, so kind of put something similar onto that, and then made a few changes comparing with Frank's carpet setup, and did his shock setup and stuff with pretty much Zeke's like base setup. And yeah, the car was really good. It was super, super easy to drive. I mean, you could just go out there and just do laps, no problem. Really stable. Had good steering, but it was not aggressive in any way. You could really kind of not soft wheel, but you could use a lot of the steering input and let it carry speed. And probably the number one thing that surprised me, and I know we talked about it a lot, was that coming into the high speed sections, it would not flip over no matter what I did. It would, if you came in, you'd go down like that short straight, and that high speed kind of like, it was like a pretty sharp sweeper. And if I came in too fast, it would just have a little bit of a slight push to it, but it wouldn't catch or grab. So that was really, really nice. And, if I did mess up, it did bite me.
Yeah, it was nice is that I was what shocked me about the weekend was in the past we've glued sidewalls, and to get rid of the cars, wanting to flip over everywhere when you turn too much or too aggressively, And we didn't have to glue any of your sidewalls on the 2-wheel or 4-wheel, which was kind of a
Mhm.
surprise.
Yeah.
You felt like you didn't need it, that it wasn't tippy. I suggested it, and you're like, well, my car's not actually really tippy at all. If I do stupid stuff, it will flip over, but if I drive normal, it's totally fine, totally manageable, and
Mhm.
you were comfortable with it, which is great to see. I think that kind of broke a lot of misconceptions, I think, about our 2-wheel being not a very good carpet or turf car. And we kind of got it up to speed, and we were battling. You were battling Dustin, who's been running turf primarily, and so we thought he would be super fast. He was for sure. And then Alex K, he's raced that race many a times, and I figured that he would have a ton of pace. And you were able to match their pace and have some extra for them in the mains, and
Mhm.
it was great to see.
Yeah, it
So
was a
let's
lot of fun. The pace. Yeah, I was just
go
say the
ahead, go.
pace. Is just so intense on Asher, just because you're going so fast, and with carpet, it's even more intense. But yeah, it was. It took a little bit to get used to, kind of get that intensity level figured out. When you're running
Mm.
on dirt, it's you're usually going a little bit slower. It's a different mindset, and you're driving different. Especially with slicks, you're kind of just rolling around and trying to hold on to it. And this was just an all-out, just brawl, just getting after it out there. So
I,
it was
I
fun.
I figured you would really like that because you get to drive hard, you get to drive fast, you have the traction, you have the aggression. I was like, this is just really kind of made for your driving style and how you want to drive the car. And sometimes on dirt, the track's limited. You're limited by the amount of grip you have with your tires to the track. And if the track's
Mhm.
medium grip, you don't really get to drive the way you want to. And I figured that once you got the traction and the car's good, that you'll be able to just rip and just let it hang out on the track. So it was awesome. I had a great time just watching you kind of evolve and keep getting faster throughout the weekend and more
Mhm.
comfortable on that stuff. But yeah, it was fantastic. Let's go say hi to some people now that we're a few minutes in here. Miguel Andrade, what's going on, dude? A buddy of mine from the Northwest. Good to see you online and checking out the TLR live show here. Andrew, what's going on, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Corey Richardson, man, I've been on the phone with him this week talking and just figuring out team stuff for 2021. As everybody knows, silly season's coming up. We've got a lot of interest. Silly things are probably going to be happening this year, especially at the end of this year. A lot of action going on, but communicating with people, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. I can't tell you anybody I've been talking to, but it will surely unfold in the next few months. We've got some things going on. Well, I'm super stoked for the team and what direction we end up going with. So options out there. It's kind of nice to have options and some ammo in the back pocket. We'll see what happens as things kind of get rolled out and contracts end and what interest and what who we end up picking up. So we got Steven. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Checking out the shows quite often. Met Steve down there at the Southern Nationals. Great guy. What's going on, bud? Tom Bolger, what's happening, man? Good to see you online. Uh, Dakotah's team manager for the ESC, something like that.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, let's
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit. So that now we have the space. Tom's on board right now. Let's talk about the new ESC that you actually ran for the first time competitively in both your 2 wheels and 4 wheels at the Turf National. Something different. Most of you guys don't know this.
Mhm.
Hasn't been really made official, but yeah, you were testing on the new Speedo. What's the verdict?
Yeah, I've been doing some testing privately and stuff with it. It's Pro Performance RC, and it's been awesome. I pretty much did just testing with dirt in the two-wheel drive car, figuring out settings and things like that, and decided to throw them in for the AstroTurf at RC Madness, and they were really good there. Had a lot of power. We just had to keep dialing it up. I kept asking you like, does it have enough power now? Does it have enough power now? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's so different from dirt. You just are as much power as you can possibly put into it. That's what you're running. So we kept turning the power up. Stuff was still super smooth. Was able to get the brakes dialed in really quickly, and felt really comfortable out there with with the pace that we were running, and how hard I was able to attack. Just being comfortable with the power, and the braking is really important. So all those singles and doubles and stuff, you're able to charge up to them and then jam the brakes and scrub them and stuff. So feeling confident with that stuff was really important, and I was able to get it dialed in and relatively quickly in a couple hours. We messed with the full drive settings a little bit, and then it kind of took what we learned with that and threw it on the tool drive, and it was able to get there in a couple runs. So been super great. I've been working with Tom some, and then the owner as well, and excited to get some more info out to you guys soon, and hopefully get some setups out to you guys, and just keep growing with them.
Yeah, awesome. I was a little cautious and weary about it, but as practice went and you made your adjustments, you still had the speed, you still looked good, and I was like, well, you know what? Let's see what happens. I think it's exciting to work with a new company that has a lot of fresh energy. So Tom's a great guy. He came down as well and hung out with us on the race weekend. You set him up with some two-wheel drive help. He was running two-wheel drive, and his tool looked a lot better in the mains. So it was great to work with Tom and get to know him a little bit better, and put a face with the name, and be able to kind of build that relationship moving forward with you and Pro Performance Racing there. So if you guys haven't heard, check it out. Pro Performance, is it Pro Performance RC?
Yes. Yep. Pro Performance RC.
All right, so check that out. Tom will be more than happy to help out with some questions. Super helpful, tons of knowledge. So if you have any questions about it, hit up Dakotah or Tom. What's up, Nancy Phend? What's going on? Always good to see you online. Did you able to get? So Nancy, Dakotah finally worked on the present he was supposed to get you. Finished the car in front of my eyes. I saw it. It's done. He wired it up. Did you get it yet? Did you give it to her, Dakotah? The drag car?
Kinda. So they came over. Yeah, they came over last week, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they brought the tires and body over. So got the tires mounted up. Got the body mounted on there, looking awesome. And I'll be bringing it down to him this weekend. So excited for him to give it a try. It's got a lot of power under the hood. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So yeah,
wheelie bar might be next up on the list.
Yeah, got it done, ready to go. Lots of power. What'd you put in for her drag car power wise?
It has a Trinity 4.5 drag motor. Yeah, so it's got some rip to it. So.
Oh man, that's gonna be awesome. She can't wait. She gonna do donuts? Just smoke them up.
yeah, we'll see. I told her from what I've seen, they've actually been doing like burnouts with them to heat tires up a little bit. So
yeah, you can put like vinegar
have it practice a little bit and get it hooked up.
Oh man, I'll have to race your mom. It's time to race, Nancy. Let's go.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, what's up, Lee and William Hobbs? What's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Kevin Abbott, the man. Hope to see you this. You bailed on us last time. What race was it he was supposed to go to and ended up not going to? Bailed out. What was that? 8 skill. Wicked Week. Not. Yeah, PMB. Yeah, not Wicked Weekend. PMB.
Oh
bailed
yeah,
out.
Wicked. Yeah, it was Wicked.
Was it Wicked?
It was one of the races.
I think it was Wicked Weekend.
Because
Kevin
the
bailed.
rain scared him.
Yeah,
rain scared him out.
It's like he's from Florida. It rains every day. How would that little rain scare you? So ended up not coming. So hopefully I'll get to go to Florida for the winter of the Florida Carpet Championships, and then that way we'll get to hang out and work together. I'm looking forward to that, Kevin. Hope you're doing well, by the way. Wyatt, what's happening, man? Yeah, he said victory was a blast. Very technical track. We'll get more to that when we get around to talking about victory. Luke Eunice, man, Luke is a great dude. Thanks for watching, Luke. And he says you got to get signed up for the trackside race in November. There you go. Hey, does that mean Luke's going to trackside? Is that a true story?
That'd be a long,
Yeah,
long haul. I haven't seen him in a little bit now.
yeah, it's been a
It's a bit
while.
of a haul for.
Yeah, well, yeah, he looks from close to Seattle there. Home track is Tacoma, TRCR. And yeah, it's a long haul to go to Wisconsin. Jeff Stakowitz, what's going on, dude? He is going to be, so one of our newest team drivers here is going to have a seminar and is going to teach new people how to be better at turf and carpet. So he's going to do a little setup seminar. I'm super stoked for that. I think that's going to be awesome for the community. Thanks for doing that, Jeff. Wayne Adams, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Jonathan Ment, what's up? Remember those Bud commercials? What's up? I loved them, dude. But Nancy, there you go. What races are up next? You've I think what Masters of Dirt.
Yeah, Masters of Dirt, kind of like middle to end of October.
Yeah,
That'll be the
third week.
next race, and then we have and then we have AMS and Beachline for the Florida Carpet Champs.
There you go. I might be making my a trip
Doing
up
it
to
all.
trackside. Yeah, I might be doing the trackside thing, going up there for support. And then I might also be attending the Ohio carpet race in December. So we'll see. That's the plan so far. It hasn't been set in stone. Nothing this year seems to be able to be set in stone. So we'll play it by ear. Mike, what's going on? Mike Lopez. The Elite is phenomenal on turf. There you go. Another TLR guy running turf. It's definitely good. Luke Eunice, our car is dialed on turf. He runs at Die Hard RC. They have a turf track outdoors. Looks a lot of fun. Hopefully we can make that trip to go visit Die Hard RC one of these days. I think it'd be a great weekend. Just not just racing, but everything. There's crawling. There's drone racing. There's just turf track for 10 scale, outdoor track for 8 scale. There's just tons of stuff going on. So Tom says Dakotah was awesome on and off the track at the Turf Nats. He watched my car in one of the qualifiers, and when I came off, the stand pulled me aside and told me exactly what needed to be done to my car to make it dial. Thanks again for DP. So yeah, what did you tell him? What kind of info are you telling him that you didn't tell me? Because I didn't get no Dakotah help at all.
Yeah. I honestly just kind of directed them kind of closer to the setup that I was running. And I mean, it's kind of cool because, we come up with the setup and, it works for me, but you don't really know if it's going to work for everybody or not. I thought it would. Like I said, the car was super easy to drive. It was landing extremely well. And it was cool to see. He put it on, and then a couple others put it on as well, kind of like as a base setup, and then made a few tweaks and changes. Yeah. And got it working for them, and all the 22.5 Phenom elites out there were working and looking really good.
Yeah, yeah, we were able to get the cars comfortable for you, and like you said, I wasn't really sure if it's going to translate for everybody, but it seemed like it did. And for Tom, some of the stuff that Jeff was running on his 2-wheel, 4-wheel, he got from you. He ended up having a speed boost towards the late qualifiers and mains. Aaron ran some of the info that you gave him as well. So everybody on the TLR team side of stuff, we kind of got the trickle down effect, and cross our fingers. I hope it works for everybody, and it seemed to do very well. And I think a lot of people really got their cars a lot better, so they were able to drive faster in the mains, and that was great to see. I think being able to work together to be able to find a setup and be able to pass it along to the rest of the team, say, hey, try this is what Dakotah's running. It's been working out great. They put it on, and I get instant feedback, dude, it was awesome, and it's that was in my car so much better, and it does this better. And yeah, they would find the little things that they would tweak to better match their driving style. And but for most of the base stuff, diff oils, sway bars, and things like that, shock positions, shock pistons, maybe some of the oils have changed a little bit, but for generally most of the setup was based off of what you ran that weekend, and it seemed to work for everybody. All right, Nico, what's going on, dude? I hope you're doing well. So he messed up my name, so he wrote it again. I like that. Fixing your own mistakes, man. Being accountable. I like that. All right, Shannon, what's going on? Robot on the track. Do you think so? Do you have? I don't. The more I watch you, the less of a robot you seem to be. At first, when I watched you, I thought, man, this guy's a machine.
Yeah,
He every lap's kind of the same. But then I'm starting to watch you more and pay closer attention. It it. It's not much. It's not really a robot. Like, well, I'm not really watching a robot anymore. I'm actually watching somebody really navigate the track and be able to drive through small mistakes.
yeah. I mean, especially when you're fully committed and really going for it and pushing. I mean, there's a lot of like small things will happen. You're constantly kind of just on your toes, having to correct and just try and keep the forward momentum going. So definitely keeps you honest, especially on turf. You get those random ripples every once in a while going in a corner, or you land a jump and it'll, if you're not going straight, it'll go a little bit left, or a little bit right and stuff. So there's definitely a lot of corrections and a lot of close calls, and you just have to be on your toes and try and keep it going forward, and you really kind of just pulling the throttle and holding on to it. So it's
What?
fun. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah. What? What was the most appealing thing to you? The intensity, or the simplicity of not having to figure out tires, or what did you like most about that weekend that surprised you?
I really liked the intensity. It was challenging and it was something different just because of how fast we're going around the track, mile per hour wise. And I liked that I'm driving hard and I'm out there and like, man, I'm getting after it, but you can you can get after it harder if you want to. You just turn the power up more, and then you pull the throttle the same amount, which is a full throttle, and then you go faster. So like it was just whenever you thought you're at your limit, you could go faster, and I liked that challenge, and I liked how kind of how sketchy it was at moments. There was a couple moments you'd be going, and I had there was like two sections on the track where it would get me once every time, no matter what I did, and it was super frustrating. I was pretty upset because I'm having
Yeah.
this perfect run going, my intensity level is super high the whole time, and this one little thing will get me, and I feel like I did it the same for the first 15 times, but that 16th time, for whatever reason, it decided to fly off the track, or
Yeah.
wheelie over backwards or whatever. There's a
Yeah.
couple of instances, and they're always pretty spectacular. Yeah, it seemed to be the two ends of the track. I go on the straightaway on the right
The left
side,
side,
and there was a
right
little
side.
bit of like a roller bump when you
Yeah.
were going down there in the middle, and it was kind of like right in the transition between turning, going into the sweeper, and then starting to turn to for the end of the sweeper. And you would hit it, and if you hit it in four wheel, then you were done. You were off the track, behind the
You
driver's stand, bucket,
and you
and
you
for
you
whatever
can't.
reason, I kept hitting it just one time.
Yeah, you can't really see the bump. There, like it's coming on the straightaway, and if you hit a certain line with a certain amount of power, the car just kind of gets so just disrupted, and it starts doing cartwheels. You can't do nothing about it, and it just usually cartwheels until you're off the track into this tractor, like, fork end, or dump end, and it's like dong, and it's like, oh man, is this
Yep.
car in one piece? Like, I'll pick it, I'm like, okay, at least it's together. So yeah, there's certain moments on that track where it just comes up and bites you, and you have to be ready. While driving at that intensity, you have to be ready to catch
Mhm.
things and drive through things and fix things as you're moving forward. It was it's such a different intensity, and it's just fun, man. I think carpet in that way is
Yep.
very, very fun. All right, we have a lot of questions coming on. I want to show you guys a clip of, if for those who are watching didn't get to see, or didn't watch any of the footage from the race there. I got a little Facebook footage. Is this the right thing? Yeah, here we go. And So here's the footage. This is the practice lap. This has actually 1.2 million views. It's got 9,000 likes. It's got 500 comments, 1,000 shares. This thing is actually going pretty viral. So let's take a look at this video real quick and let you guys see what we're talking about and what Dakotah is doing. This is his two-wheel during practice. I think it's probably maybe his 5th run or something.
Yeah, it was a super fun layout. They did a really good job with it. It had good flow. Quite a few jumps and stuff. So it was a lot of fun.
The video is a little bit skippy, but I think you can kind of see what we're talking about. The rumble strips, not too bad.
No,
You
you
hit
just
it
had to make
hard.
sure you kind of hit them on the inside. Yeah, you had to hit them on the inside where there's only 2 strips, and then you were fine. If you went outside and hit the 5, the front would kind of start bouncing. You kind of would lose steering and push a little bit wider.
Yeah.
But yeah, didn't really upset the car too much. Kind of just went through there really quick, and we're on your way.
This part was funny. I'm gonna rewind it real quick. I remember this because I was standing on the driver's stand. Jason was like, "Hey, I'm gonna pull over and be in the video or something like that." So here he is, right here, pulled over. He follows you, and so he's in the video. And then like 4 turns later, he's no longer in the video, and you're like, "Okay, where did Jason go?" You know, like, okay, so now he's out of the video
It was
now.
funny. He pulled
Just like
over.
he pulled over just to be in the video, and he really is just no longer in the video. So it was pretty funny. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in this video," right? Because I remember you
Yeah,
started
because he was
laughing.
standing between us.
So yeah, that was the lap there. So that video clip there, it has quite a bit of views, a lot of traction. It's kind of cool to see. 1.2 million. I think it's TLR's first millions view, at least on the TLR side of stuff. Yeah, kind of cool. Show demonstrates the track layout, and yeah, we had a great time. I thought overall the weekend was good. We finished. You were able to TQ both classes, finish first in A1 and A2, and kind of checked out and watched your teammate Aaron Kaufman win A3s in 2-wheel and 4-wheel to get second and third
Yeah.
overall. So it's kind of cool. So there's a testament that the car is really good. His car, Aaron's car by the mains, was very competitive, and he was able to win against Dustin and Alex and Lee and a lot of fast guys out there. So it was great to see him jump up and grab the last A3 wins and make it happen. All right, so RC Master. Wow, what a name. Of course, he would be a YouTube guy. Hi, everybody. Jimmy, what's happening? Still going through and saying highs, making sure I get that done. RC Basher Boy, what's going on? Hope you're doing well, Basher Boy. And yeah, hello. Brett Richard, hey, what's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well, Brett. Vinny, what's going on? Hope you're doing good, buddy. Thanks for watching. Tony Watson from Australia, once doing the worldwide thing. Glad that you're able to catch some of this. I don't know what time it is over there in Australia, but it's probably some god awful time. So you probably shouldn't be up, but who knows? I don't know exactly what time. I thought you guys were going to say hi to us then Gab. So normally it goes into that where we say hi first. I figured that we could just kind of roll it along and scroll down and start answering questions as we say hi. It'd be a little bit different, but not bad. Ron Hemingway, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for watching the show too. Philippe saying hi as well. We've got Ron, Shannon, upstate New York in the house. What's going on, man? Hope you are safe. I know New York's got a very strict travel restriction and quarantine stuff. Hope everybody's doing good in New York. Here we go. Bibby, what's going on, dude? Great to see Bibby at the Turf Nationals as well. Got to hang out and meet him for the first time. Hopefully we get to hang out and race together more in the future. Here we go. Joe Gross. I'm looking to get into dirt oval racing and looking at the TLR 2-wheel buggy. by chance know where I can get a body mounts needed to run street stock or late model. So there is a company that makes a bumper body mount system for our cars. I forget who makes it. Somebody, if that's watching, maybe you know what I'm talking about. McAllister, I believe it's McAllister. They make a front bumper that has that attaches to where our bumper mounts, and then it has body mounts that extend out from the bumper going up. So if you want to check that out, that is actually designed and made for street stock. A lot of guys are that doing drag racing are using that front bumper system for their body mounts. They like it wide and up front so that it has more structural strength when the body is mounted to the car, especially for drag racing. They don't want a lot of body flex and body movement. So the wider you have your posts, the more structural strength you'll have. So that's the idea. So check that out, Joe. See if that works for you. It's McAllister TLR front bumper system for street stock. Okay, there you go, Tom. Check out the Facebook for Pro Performance RC. Yeah, so Nancy, your mom's excited finally getting that ride that you promised her, and you got to send a picture in. I got to see this thing and make sure it really happens, because
for sure.
you know, Dakotah might say he will do it, and he might not do it for another half a year. So I'm gonna hold him accountable for you, Nancy. Don't worry, I'll get him to set that up. Eduardo Rossi, please ask Dakotah to explain the scrub driving technique. Now, this is something that is next level, a very advanced thing to do. Not everybody can do it. It messes up your jump timing. You have to have a lot of practice. It's something that I don't do regularly because it messes me up. If I practice it, and I can get better at it for sure, but explain to them what scrubbing means in the world of RC racing.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, we could probably talk about this for probably an hour or so pretty easily.
Yeah,
there's a lot of a lot of little details with and there's a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's to carry more speed, and sometimes you can kind of use it to set the corner a little bit. But mostly on turf, what I was doing was just charging the jumps really hard, and then I would brake at a certain point to scrub off some speed. That way I was just getting over the jump and not over jumping it. So instead of going at it at like a steady speed and then letting it off, let it coast, and then kind of giving a little blip to get over the jump, I was, charging generally full throttle or pretty close to it. And then just brake jamming at whatever point I needed to with the brake setup that I had, and then having it where I would downside the jump, or if it was a single, where I would jump where I wanted to. It's definitely hard to do perfect every time. But you definitely do save a little bit of time by being able to charge those sections. And you can also it also changes how the car jumps as well, depending on where you're at in the throttle when you actually take off from the jump. It definitely changes suspension geometry and kind of how the car reacts in the air when it first takes off from the jump.
So so basically, he's overspeeding to the face of the jump. And where do you determine where you start scrubbing? At the bottom of the face of the jump, the middle of the jump, or just very late on the jump? Or how do you determine when you jam the brakes just a bit?
Start off by going easy. Don't start off by going full throttle at the jump and wait until last minute, jam the brakes, and seeing what happens. Start off going quarter throttle. Yeah, start off going quarter throttle. Get a little more comfortable with it, and then you can kind of slowly build up the speed. But yeah, generally, right before the face of the jump, you'll jam the brakes, and what I feel like it does is it transfers a lot of it transfers weight forward, obviously. And a lot of the times, especially with how jump faces are in Astro, the car will kind of bottom out a little bit, and that'll really scrub a lot of speed as well. But because the jump faces are all shaped a little bit differently, it will change depending on the jumps. But with the Astro jumps, it definitely is a little bit different, and generally the cars will kind of bottom out going up them just because of how they're faced.
So in this video, you can actually see Dakotah try to scrub brakes on the face of the jump and come up a little short. If you ever notice, if you ever watch Dakotah
Yep.
race a lot, he actually comes up short on the jumps quite a bit, more than anybody I've ever seen, and it's because he's trying to find that perfect scrub point and speed. So in the video here, um, on this the jump coming up, that before it loops to the straightaway, he shorts it because he's actually trying to scrub it. So this jump here,
Yeah, it's a little
there.
double right here.
So that
Oh,
little
break.
double,
See, a little bit too
yeah.
much.
So that little double is one of the jumps where you want to speed up to it as fast as you can. Since it's an undersized jump, you can't jump off at that speed. Otherwise, you just jump over into the different lane and off the track. So you actually have to, like, at the face of the jump, you brake, modulate the car's speed, be able to slow down so that it doesn't over jump and you can backside it. There, he actually probably didn't approach the jump fast enough, or maybe scrubbed a little bit too much brakes off the top of the jump and shorted it. So that's what happens when you see Dakotah come up short on the jump. It's because he is trying to scrub speed and has missed it just a bit, and is trying to figure out where he needs to adjust to get that perfect scrub point. So not easy to do, something I don't normally practice because at my skill level, at my speed, it's better for me to try to just go around the track and not crash versus try to extrapolate all the tenths that I can from my car. Depending on what skill level you are, it's something that you probably shouldn't play with until you're actually a lot more advanced, because it can hurt you, because you will be crashing a lot more. You'll be over jumping and under jumping, but through the process, you'll learn how to actually scrub the jumps better. And as you pick up speed and put things together, that becomes very handy and something that you are going to have to do if you want to be able to reach the top level of racing, because all the pro guys do it. Everybody does it. They're all scrubbing speed. They're all charging the face of the jump and breaking off the top of it so that they can backside the backside and then use the backside to get more speed and be able to use to boost the car down and get up to speed quicker. So it's a very hard thing to do. The scrub technique, it's an advanced technique. I'm not saying don't try it, but it's something that's going to take some time to learn. And each track you go to, each jump you go to, you're going to have to try to figure out how to gauge that. But the more you do it, the better you get, as all things that you practice. So yeah, that's a quick explanation for that. And let's see, any more questions do we have about the Turf Nationals? So Mike Marshall saying, what's up? Frank in the house. What's up, Frank Root? And yep, Dakotah's truck was on rails at Southern Nationals, man. That thing keeps impressing me everywhere we go. We'll talk more about the Truggy win in just a minute here once we wrap up Turf Nats. Andrew Swanson, Beachline Carpet Race should be a lot of fun. Super excited for it. So it sounds like Andrew might be going out to the carpet race. Is that true?
Nice.
I hope it's true. I do know Danny Stojakovic is going. He's excited. He's going to make a fun weekend out of it. So maybe Andrew's going with Danny. Yep. Mike Marshall also at Victory. Victory was great as always. Derek Stevenson checking in saying hi. What's going on, bud? Rick Provost, come up to Minnesota for the J Concepts carpet race. We would love to, and I believe that race is actually on the same weekend that we'll be at Masters of Dirt or something. There's something coinciding that we couldn't. Yeah, that we couldn't make it to that race. And since Dakotah is the reigning Masters of Dirt champion, for those who don't know what the Masters of Dirt is, it's a race held at Beach RC by Brent Densford. And it is a race where you have to compete in two-wheel modified, four-wheel modified, and modified stadium truck. And they combine the points, and whoever has the best total score wins the overall Masters of Dirt title. And this happens for modified and stock. So there's a stock Masters of Dirt and a modified Masters of Dirt. Dakotah is the reigning Masters of Dirt, so he has to go back and defend the title and see if he can repeat as a Masters of Dirt champion. So we're geared up for that. We have a big team going there, 20 plus people, drivers that will be there for TLR. I had to reserve the pit spaces and everything, so really excited for that race at the end of the month. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, we got Tater there as well. He's gonna be fun to watch. I always like watching Tater drive. Tom Rindernecht is going to be there. So we've got Dakotah as well. Obviously, we've got a pretty good crew going down representing. And Charlie Cavalier, also from the West Coast, from California, going to be making it to the East Coast and be able to hang with us as well. New XT is awesome. So if you guys haven't checked out the new 8XT, it has been winning almost every single race that it's been at. The only race that it didn't win was a very close race with Ryan Mayfield at DNC. Other than that, every time it's been out, it's been on rails, and Dakotah's making that thing look awesome. So if you haven't checked that out yet and interested in checking out a Truggy, man, definitely scope out the new 8XT. Ryan Dunford's done an awesome job with that thing. It's just the performance of it's just been awesome. We're all excited, and every time Dakotah whips that truck out, man, I'm just like, okay, here we go. Let's do some work. Super excited about that thing. All right, quick question: are you going to the AE race in November 11th and 15th? That race is in the middle of two races. I don't think we're going to be able to go. I'm going to be able to try to make it up there for support for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then see what we can do with. I think Tom's going to be there, the Fullers and stuff. So I'm going to see if I can make it happen with up there with those guys. Still should be a lot of fun. Jonathan Ment wants to know, how different is the Astro setup to carpet setup? In my perspective, I'll answer this first from what I thought. This turf is a little bit older, and I don't think it has as much bite as it used to. It's still very good. It still has a fun driving feel, but the bite is probably not as high bite as black carpet or ozite carpet or any of the really high bite stuff. It's probably in the middle, I would say, between a medium grip carpet track. Definitely not as smooth. It still has kind of that outdoor feel, even though it's relatively smooth almost everywhere. The setups on this track to a high grip carpet track would be very different, I think. Shock oils, diff oils, sway bars, weight, and all those type of things, I think would be changed quite a bit if you're running on a high grip carpet track. For this track, we kind of mixed in a semi carpet setup with a dirt setup, and to be able to maintain the bumps and the just small details in the track that you kind of had to have suspension for. Otherwise, it would disrupt the car and you would basically fly off the track. That's my perspective. What do you think, Dakotah? I know you haven't had much carpet running experience yet, but from what you've heard, from what you're anticipating, what do you think the differences would be?
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite a bit different. From dirt to Astro, I think there's kind of like a certain gap, and I think from Astro to carpet is going to be a similar gap. You could, for Astro, it's pretty easy. You take a dirt car and you have a different shock setup. You have sway bars, and then you usually raise the rear diff and the hubs up, and then usually pretty close. Where I think with carpet, you're kind of changing the whole car quite a lot. So yeah, I think it's going to be quite a bit different. I think that you could probably start with the Astro setup, and it's going to be a lot closer than a dirt setup. But I imagine we're going to be changing the camber links a little bit. We're obviously going to be going way up in diff oils. The shock setup's going to be a little bit different, so we'll see. We're going to be doing some carpet later this year, so we'll be getting some carpet setups out by the end of the year, and we'll kind of have a full lineup. But there's definitely carpet setups out there. Frank does quite a bit of running in carpet, and I know quite a few of the drivers do as well. So yeah, I think we'll be good to go.
Yeah, so definitely a little bit of difference. You're going to still have to tune the car. Even from Astro track to Astro track, the setups will probably change quite a bit. There's low grip Astro, there's super high grip Astro, there's grooved Astro. It changes quite a lot. So depending on the grip level, it really is going to dictate what you do to the car. And it's going to be different every time you go, I think. All right, Brett Hold. What's going on, Brett? Hope you are doing well. Gonna gonna have to get 10 skill carpet race at Beachline. So he's good. All right, dude. There you go. It's been a while. I think Brett's from Florida. When I worked in at J Concepts in Florida, I was able to hang out and help Brett and his daughter do the racing thing. It's cool to see that you guys want to come back to carpet. I know it's been a while. You guys are primarily 8 skill drivers, but it's cool that you want to come and join for the carpet 10 skill stuff. So yeah, let me know. Shannon says you should do a Halloween race at LCRC. Halloween race. What's the best Halloween race you've ever been to, Dakotah?
Man, Halloween race.
I remember one, right?
I'm trying to even remember a Halloween race.
I remembered one, dude. Okay, there was this Halloween race. It was in Olympia, Washington at Four Seasons Raceway. It used to be Four Seasons Raceway used to be open. It closed down because Scott Brown's father owned Four Seasons Raceway, and it's just it's actually in Olympia, Washington, very close to Tacoma. And it was a great track, man. Lots of fun. And they had an annual Halloween race. It was totally bizarre. Black lights, glowing dark pipes.
Oh, wow.
You can't really see the dirt. They spray paint, the track outline. You have to run like fluorescent wheels so they glow up. You do all these things,
Nice.
and it's under. You actually race under black light, and it was freaking awesome because it was so different from any other race I've ever been to. And yeah, I wasn't really. You weren't really there for the racing. You're more there for the experience and the, racing under black lights and kind of a trippy, weird, cosmic bowling effect. It was neon, everything.
That sounds
it was
pretty cool.
cool.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it was different, man. Some people came in costumes. I didn't, but I just came to race and check it out. And we drove up there one year, participated, had a great time, and that was probably the most memorable Halloween race that I can think of. Just because it was under black lights, it was something totally different. All right, so here we go. Couple more questions here. Jimmy Simmons wants to know, Dakotah, are you running the 3mm or 3.5mm shock shafts on your turf or two-wheel car? Interesting. This is actually a good question because I actually don't know.
Yeah, I was running the 3mm on 2-wheel and 4-wheel.
The 3mm shafts on 2-wheel, man. What? Okay, so yeah. Dakotah's very famous for running 3.5 shaft shocks on his 2-wheel, right? So this might be the first time he's ran 3.0 shocks in a very long time, is it not?
Yeah. I mean, at a race, a very long time. I do testing with them, every couple months on dirt, but for whatever reason, the 3.5 still have my heart. I've been running them since original 22, and you just put them on, and it's like that shirt you've had for the last 15 years. It's just comfy.
Yeah, I think Dakotah's he's been running the car for a long time with 3.5 shafts, and has made them work for him. Has had a lot of success, and likes the way they feel. So it might not be for everybody. It might, the 3.0 shafts might be better for some. It might be not better for some. So it seems like this time we didn't really try 3.5 shocks, which is strange to me, because I thought that was what we would start with and then kind of figure out what the shock package would be. But it was good to be on 3.0 shocks because the rest of the team were on 3.0 shocks, and they were able to kind of just mimic your shock setup and shock package and be able to kind of like get around the track super, super good.
Yeah.
All right.
And those setups from Astro are online. They're I think they've been posted on the Facebook page, on my Facebook page, and then also on the website. So make sure to check them out. Be a great starting point.
Yeah, it's definitely something to try. I think it's a well-balanced ride. It works really well. Also keep in mind, the setup is all based around the JC tires, the Swaggers, and Nessie tires. So
Mhm.
if you're on different
Yep.
tires, that's going to make your car feel and drive totally different. So it might not actually, this setup might not actually translate if you have an aggressive front tire or a really grippy rear tire or something that's totally different that offsets the balance of the car. You'll have to make adjustments to it. But like Dakotah said, it's a great place to start. If you're running JC tires, Swaggers, and Nessies, it'll be perfect. But otherwise, we'll have to kind of make some changes to suit the tires that you have. All right, Bobby wants to know, how much did you have to adjust your speed control settings for turf? I see you're now running Pro Performance. What's your thoughts? So for those who weren't there and able to hear, Dakotah kept on asking me over and over, is this fast enough? Do I need more power? Is it good now? And I kept nope, more power. Every time he'd go run, he'd put more power in, and he would go run, and he'd come back. Is it good? Is the power good? I'm like, nope, you need more power. You go put more power in, go run. All right, it's good now, right? No, you still need more power. So I've probably told him at least 5, 6 times to put more power in. By the time we finished, he was at the speed level that he needed to be. It's weird with turf and carpet because uh, you feel like you're going around the track really good. You know, you're making all the lines nice. You feel like you're pushing the car. You feel you're driving great lines. And until you're really out there with somebody else going all out, you really don't know where you're at. And, so I kept on,
Yeah.
I've been there before. I've seen the power. I've been around carpet a long time. I kind of know what the intensity is supposed to be. I kind of know what the power is supposed to be. And I kept on telling him, more power, dude, more power, more power. So what did you end up with your settings? Just to ballpark it real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. The settings were definitely a lot different from dirt. Like Thomas was saying, you just need a lot of power. And I kept turning up, the turbo like 2 or 3 degrees. Like, I'll just turn it up here a little bit. And then, after like the fourth time, I'm like, all right, plus 10, let's get up there to
You
like,
gotta go big
15,
jumps,
20
right?
degrees. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just don't, like you said, you just don't know because you're out there going and you're like, my tool drive
Feels
has a
good.
6.0 in it and my full drive has a 5.0 in it. And, I got turbo in there. So I'm like, oh, yeah, it's good. And then you'll get next to another car that's actually a mod car. And you're like, oh, like,
Yeah.
they
Even
got some power there. So, yeah, once
yeah,
we
even
figured it out and I kind of actually realized like, okay, this is how much power I actually need. It was pretty easy to dial in, and then we kind of just worked on the feel from there. Pretty much not crazy different, but everything was different from dirt to Astro. So the drive frequency was different. Obviously, we had some more boost in there. Throttle rate was different. The internal response was different for the throttle. And then for the brake side, kind of the same thing. Really, you're just making everything more aggressive. So, you're giving the car more punch, you're giving it more power throughout the power band, you're giving it more top speed. And then with the brakes, the same thing. You go down on the brake frequency, you make the internal brake response, you make that more aggressive so that it hits harder. You're turning up the brake force so that you have more brakes. And it's just more of everything.
So what happens when you turn up everything? And since this was the first time we were running the Speedo like in competition, I was making sure, and Dakotah kept on asking me, hey, how's the temperature? Is it hot? Is it, and well, I was making sure that the speed control wasn't getting hot, even though we kept on boosting it and giving it more power. And by the final setting, everything was still good. The Speedo was running smooth
Mm-hmm.
and wasn't hot. It was definitely warm because of all the brakes that you use in carpet for all the the how much power that thing is actually producing and gripping and putting down on the track is just insane. So the temperatures was great. There was never an issue. It ran as good as anything else that I've seen in terms of temperature. So we're on par there. So it's good to see. And all weekend long, zero issues, which is definitely what I like to see. So that was nice. And if there was, Tom was on hand for support if we had questions. So it was a good weekend all around, testing new things, being on a carpet track for the or turf track for the first time in years plus for Dakotah. Ended up being a great weekend. So I think that's all the questions that we have for turf. We go. Clint, what's happening, dude? Hope you're doing well, bud. Chance says Dakotah on turf was fire. Definitely fun to watch. I think even more fun to watch than on dirt even. The dirt stuff's cool, but the intensity that he can run and the lines that he can run is absolutely amazing on turf. So it's really, really fun and entertaining to watch that kind of level of driving on display was awesome. All right, we've got all right. So that is all the questions. Oh, here we go. One last question. Ross wants to know, what changes did you make to the 22X4 moving to turf from your normal clay setups?
Yeah, so like I said, setups are posted online, so feel free to check it out. But a lot of things, we moved the center, the center assembly forward, the motor forward, all that, and then have the different center drive shafts to, so that way you'd still have have power to the front and the rear tires. Running the slipper, different front and rear diff oils, different shock setup. So definitely quite a few things. Like I said, it's definitely doable if you have a dirt car and you want to go give Astro a try. Definitely doable to change everything over, go give it a try. But I wouldn't want to be switching back every single week, doing dirt this week and then Astro the week after that and keep having to switch back and forth because you would have your car apart, tearing it down. Like I said, it's not anything too crazy. You can the center diff and the slipper, it's 4 screws in and out. That's easy. But you're gonna be changing diff oil, and you're gonna be having to take the front and rear clip apart a little bit to change those center drive shafts out.
Yeah. So from his dirt, I think went up in diff oils just a bit. Shock oils kind of remained the same. So that with 22X4, there's 2 center configurations. One is where in the manual it states where the location is stock in the manual is the standard configuration, and then the high bite carpet Astro configuration is moving everything forward. You definitely have to, you can move it forward, no problem, but you have to have new center drive shafts that are different lengths because you moved it forward. And then you adjust that, and then the rest of the car basically is comprised of dirt setups with kind of a little bit thicker diffs. But throughout the weekend, the car looked awesome, and it kept on getting better and better each time we made some small adjustments, which is really, really cool to see. All right,
yeah, we kind of got the diffs figured out and stuff, and then we kind of would mess with. We actually changed the front rear pills, the roll centers, and then tone anti-squat and things like that. But yeah, pretty much everything, honestly. Mess with it all.
A lot of small things get changed, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, check out the setup. It's online, TLR website. If you go to 22X4, there's a setup tab. You hit the setup, and that's at the bottom. There'll be a bunch of setups for the 22X4. Brad Taylor, what's going on, dude? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you online checking out the show. Let's see. Ross Freights was also there. Thanks for showing up to Turf Nats, Ross. Had a great time meeting you. Hopefully we get to race together in the future at some other race. Mark Unrath, we've mentioned this. Masters of the Dirt, yes, we will be there with a pretty big team. Looking forward to working with everybody and seeing all the different drivers from around the East Coast, even a person from the West Coast. Right, so any tips on cornering speed, man? How does that happen? When people say, "Oh,
yeah,
this car has more corner speed," what are they talking about? How do you maintain or keep corner speed?
Yeah, obviously it has a lot to do with setup as well. But speaking just from a driving standpoint, the most important part is getting the correct entry speed at the right angle. Yeah, it's definitely something you want to practice with. I'm trying to figure out how to explain corner speed, man. I'm
Yeah.
making up some words here though. I get some more time, but no, it's definitely important, and a lot of it is just depending on how you enter the corner, speed wise, angle wise, how much steering you're giving it, where you're at in the lane compared to where the corner is. You have to set everything right up first, because if you don't do that, then the rest of the corner is wrong and it's a wash and you're losing corner speed. So the most important part is how you enter the corner, making sure that you're carrying the right amount of speed. It's a fine balance between going too fast in the corner and either pushing wide or flying off the track, or going too slow. And that's just a balance you have to practice with. If you're going into the corner and you're making the corner fine, maybe try giving it a little bit more throttle, going in a little bit faster, and see where that limit is, what is too fast. You need to find what's too fast, and then you need to back it down the smallest amount and try to be as close as possible to that point. And then, you can mess with where you're entering the corner at, where you're at in the lane. Are you all the way out on the outside pipe? Are you in the middle of the lane? And then at what point are you turning in, and where that is at in the corner? So there's a lot of little things that go into it. There's a lot to mess with. But I would say the easiest way is to just try different things. Like I said, do your normal line and then try and go a little bit faster. See where you're at, see where the limit is. And then maybe try going a little bit wider before you're entering the corner and then turning in and seeing how that feels. Try going a little bit tighter in the lane before you hit the corner. See how that feels. And, just comparing lap times and seeing what works for you and what's most comfortable for you.
A lot more confusing, or a lot more complicated than just saying, you just turn your car and keep up the speed and pull the gas when you're out.
Yeah.
There's a lot more going on there, isn't there?
Yeah, and once you get through the first part of the corner, it's all about flowing, not jerking the throttle, not jerking the steering wheel, just trying to be smooth and consistent and in control. We're not generally, once you're entering the corner, we're not just cranking the wheel crazy or stabbing the throttle in the middle of the corner, because that really upsets the car. It's all about smooth throttle control. When you're watching, especially in Astro, everyone's going really quick, so it's really easy to think, oh, I just got to yank the throttle and be in the gas. But it's very important where you yank it. And just because we're going around the corner fast doesn't mean we're super heavy in the throttle. So I feel like that's a very common misconception when you're passing someone in the corner. They go, oh, they're going faster, I'm going to pull more throttle. And then they're normally off the track or pushing super wide, or they're in the back of your car because they went way too fast into the corner.
That usually happens. That usually happens to me. But maybe I'm going slow in the corners. I don't know. I have to drive more. All right. So we've got that is a very complicated thing, Brad. Brad's a great driver. I hope he makes it to the Masters of Dirt too. I think he's trying to go there. That would be cool to see if you can make it, Brad. And so let's see, Mark Unrath, you have to have your brakes pretty dialed for scrubbing. How critical is to have your brake settings right so that you can scrub properly?
Yeah, it's super, super critical. When I do testing with speedo settings, which I generally will get a good base setup, and then it's funny, when I started testing the Pro Performance RC stuff, I got a really good base setup. I was really happy. And I went back to the next day, and my settings were completely different. There's so many fine-tuning adjustments now that there's a lot of different ways to go about things. But by far, brake setup is, for me personally, the most critical. I'll spend 2-3 times as much time figuring out the brakes and getting the brakes dialed in than I will the throttle and stuff. It's just super, super important to me, very critical. I have to have the brakes where I want them. And it's sometimes it's challenging to get the brakes where you have good brake for the high speed sections and then good brake for the low speed sections. So like I said, I spend a lot of time with that, getting the feel that I want. And there's a lot of technique involved too with braking. Because like I said, you can't have enough brake for the straightaway and then going into some slow corners and jam the brake the same and expect it to still work perfectly. It's just not how it is. It's like it's like a real car. There's different amounts of brake force that you can apply, and different ways that you can apply it. So there's a lot that goes into braking, and that's something that I really focus on setting wise and driving wise.
Wow. More focused on brakes than you are actually the throttle side.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, definitely.
There you go. Something I didn't know. I didn't know Dakotah messed with his brakes that much. So there you go. Mess with your brakes and make it feel good so that you can attack the track. Kevin Myers says, "Yo, what's going on, Kevin? Hope you're doing well." Kevin raced the Victory RC, right?
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Came out of
You're gonna have
semi-retirement.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell me.
Just like
You're gonna have to
Chloe.
give me the update. Give me the update on how the Myers did at the track. All right, Toddy Anderson. Good to talk to Toddy. Thanks for stopping by, Toddy. Hope all is well, TLR boys. RCE has been going strong. That's great news. RCE is RC Excitement in Pittsburgh, Massachusetts. Great track. Lots of options. Tons of crawling. Tons of tracks, just an RC mecca, man. I have a great time every time I'm there, just hanging out. Feels like family. Hunter King, I'll be at Masters and the Florida Carpet Race. There we go. 2 races I get to have with Hunter. Awesome, man. Looking forward to it. Johnny Buckner just finished the 8XT. Awesome, man. Let us know how it does for you. There we go. On your setup, what 25 front stroke bring you? So you ran 25 stroke on the 2-wheel front shocks.
I
think that's a little. Yeah, I think on your setup, what 25 front stroke bring you? I don't think maybe maybe your I don't think your stroke was 25, was it? That's a lot for 2-wheel front.
Here, go pull it up.
All right, so here we go. Philip also wants to know, second question was, what slipper settings do you use for 4-wheel, the stock one or tighter?
Yeah, so front stroke and 2-wheel drive was 25.
Okay.
My slipper and full drive, I don't know the specific setting, but it was tight as I could make it.
Yeah. So Philippe, the stroke 25, I think that's actually a kind of a large stroke number for a front shock stroke. The car has sway bars on it, front and rear sway bars, and the idea is to let to have a lot of shock stroke, but have your sway bar and your suspension control the roll, and the longer travel aids in the ability to basically land the jumps properly, so the car doesn't hesitate or bounce and kind of like you have to wait for it before you get on it. The extra stroke makes it a little bit easier for landing jumps and getting on power, and also it's very important. I always feel it's very important to have your front tires touch very early, because you can actually start directing the car down the backside if your front tires touch, and then you can already start the arc of the turn early. As soon as your front tires touch, you can start the arc of the turn. So having a little bit extra stroke kind of gets you a little bit more reach, but I don't think that's really why. It's more just having the car plush, but be able to carry or control the roll of the car with the sway bars and the springs and the shock oil, and how you drive it. Slipper, it was pretty tight. We didn't really do a slipper check test because Dakotah's running plastic gears internals in the 4-wheel, and when you do a slipper test on a 4-wheel, it puts a lot of pressure and a lot of force into the plastic gears that the car probably would not normally see. So we did a test to make sure, and I was like, okay, I think we're good. It's tight enough. It's definitely on the tight side, and Dakotah's controlling the cars with his acceleration and brake with the finger. It's one of those things. Steven wants to know, when am I going back to the Hobbyplex in Omaha? I don't know. Maybe round 1 of the JC race, because I think round 1 of the JC race now is no longer Smack Track, but Hobbyplex. So if that's true, the official schedule is not out. I know Jason's working on it, and that is in play. So that will probably be the next time. He will be ripping up on the carpet behind him he'll be ripping up the carpet behind him when he gets to carpet. Yeah, I have a feeling, Kevin, that Dakotah will be very fast on carpet. We just have to get his car to the pace that he can hang on. Have you played with the LCD front drive shafts rear hub height on the 22X4? And yes, we did, Dakotah.
Yep. Yeah, I think those different drives with the LCD front drive shaft, I think that's for a little bit more higher grip, probably more the black carpet, maybe the gray carpet if it's a high bite gray carpet. For Astro, we went back to just a standard front drive shafts, and that worked better for me. And I think most of the team was on that as well. I did start out with new drive shafts, and just wasn't quite there. Not quite enough steering, not quite as into the track as what we want it to be. So went back to the standard front drive shafts, and all was good. Had good steering, and still easy to drive, and not tip your edge or anything like that.
Yeah, so Dakotah was looking for a little bit more steering, and I was like, well, how about we try the old drive shafts, because I know the LCD drive shafts kind of take away steering but add a lot of smoothness. And he put them in. The car looked like it steered better. It was not tippier. So we left them in and decided that's the way we're going to go, and it worked out. All right, this is the last question, and then we're going to move on to the next event, Southern Nationals. So Ross Gonzalez wants to know, when you arrive at a new track, what is the first thing you try to attack after getting your tires right? Dakotah,
What's the first thing I attack? I attack the track. Try to figure out how fast I can go in each section. I actually crash a lot. I crash a lot in practice. Just trying to figure out how fast I can go into the section. I'm usually the opposite, where I go too far first and then try to back it down. And just trying to figure out what's the limit in these corners, what's the limit that the car can do. Trying some different lines on the track, and just getting my comfort out there. That way, by the time racing comes around, I'm not messing around with that stuff. I know where I need to go. I know where my options are. If I make a little mistake, going a little bit wider or going a little bit tighter, what that will do to the car. And just honestly, just kind of just mess around out there and try a bunch of different stuff out and figure out what the best line is and what some alternative lines are, whether that be a hole that forms, a car that's there, just whatever it may be.
Yeah, so there you go. Attack. That's a tough question. Get the tires right, and then I think each time you're on the track, Dakotah's trying something different on the car, setup-wise, and while he's trying to figure out what that setup change is doing, he's also trying to learn and figure out how to go around the track fast. And yeah, he does crash a lot in practice, not as much as some other guys I've worked with, but there is crashing going on, and that's okay, because that's how you find your limit. That's how you know there's certain things you can't get away with, and you got to crash in order to figure those limits out. Crashing is part of learning. It's for a guy like Dakotah, he's able to make the crashes, but then make the adjustments. And I think that's where it's really hard for people, because everybody's testing limits and trying to figure out what they can do, what they can't do, what the car can do. And then what ends up usually happening is the fast guys figure out, okay, I can't do this, and they learn from it, and they move on. They rarely make that mistake again. For everybody else, including myself, we try to learn, and we're still kind of making mistakes, and trying to figure everything out. So he's able to back down his mistakes and be able to run at a pace that's super high, but not crashing. So that is a big difference. I try to back it down. I'm going really slow. So I gotta keep the speed up a little bit, and then I'm crashing. So kind of tough. Tony Watson wants to know if there's a new SCT on the way. SCT hasn't been a very popular class. Same as Stadium Truck. The truck classes have tapered off tremendously. I don't know if we're going to be making new models of that because the SCT 3.0 and the Stadium Truck 4.0, they are actually still very competitive. I mean, Dakotah still wins with his truck. He's battling the newer generation of stuff, the Yokomo truck, the new T6 trucks. He still beats them. SCT, same thing. Performance-wise, they're still good. I know everybody wants something new and updated and looks cooler, but it's hard to replace something that isn't very popular. It doesn't sell a lot. It has maybe there's one class at every track around the world, but it's a very small class. And unfortunately, for people that love truck, it's tough. Go ahead, buddy.
It's pretty easy with most of the vehicles kind of sharing a lot of stuff. A lot of the 5.0 stuff from the tool drive you're able to put on the truck and the stroke course very easily, kind of just bolts on. A lot of us would run the updated steering rack. Takes a little bit of work. Pretty easy, pretty simple, pretty straightforward to do. A lot of us are running the C and D blocks so that we can change the roll centers and things like that, mess around with that a little bit more. So for the most part, most of the 5.0 stuff from the tool drive, you're able to pretty much just bolt right on to the truck on the short course and kind of have that updated part where it's really not worth trying to come out with a 5.0 short course and truck at this time. And it'd be pretty much, something that you're able to get right now.
Yeah, I know everybody wants something new and something, some sparkly new toy. But yeah, if you want, you can update the rear end of the trucks and the steering rack, and pretty much you would have a newer version of the truck. All right, so Hunter King says, just saying, I'm coming out looking to win full wheel mod. Wait, yeah, full wheel at MOD Masters of Dirt. Okay, so maybe Hunter's running stock is going to win stock, because I don't know about full wheel mod. Jonah says, much respect to Dakotah for this past week and letting the wife run and you being the mechanic. Lots more to talk about later in the show. I'm dying to know how that weekend went because I actually haven't been updated myself. So let's move on. Let's talk about the next trip that we had. It was a quick turnaround, basically a one-day break, and I was packing and kind of getting stuff ready for Southern Nationals. You drove down 5 hours from Lansing over to Champaign. We hopped in the van, cruised down to Southern Nats, had our little road trip. Lots of fun, 10 hours, 11 hours in a van. just toughing it out, man, And we get to Southern Nationals, and this race was a little different for us. We didn't come out swinging, and we kind of had to build pace through the weekend, and it was kind of slow. What did you think of Southern Nationals, the track, the experience, the trip, the racing?
Yeah, it was a long trip down, first off. Very long. The drive back was even longer. That took like 3 days, it felt like. But no, it was a good time. The track was super fun. It had a good flow to it. It actually grooved up a lot quicker than I was thinking. The grip did not come up super quick though. So yeah, I honestly, for whatever reason, I like the layout. I was good with the layout, but I really struggled with the surface for some reason. Just wasn't really feeling that comfortable, and was still putting in decent results. Had a decent speed, but just for whatever reason wasn't really feeling it. And we worked hard together as a team and got everything pretty decent in the mains. And we were working the whole week.
Yeah, it was a little catch up. Like I think, oh man, yeah, we just weren't able to get on the pace that Mayfield was on. He was having a great weekend. His stuff looked awesome. We were getting closer each qualifier and very close in Truggy. You almost had a TQ there. A very fun last section of that race. You had TQ, and there was that pipe that you bumped, pushed you out, like all these things that are happening. You're jumping off the ramp of the pit lane, you know, across things were going crazy in that qualifier, but it was a lot of fun to watch because, you know, I knew you were pushing hard. I knew you wanted to get the TQ and you were going for it, not letting off, and you know, jumping out of pit lane.
Yeah, there were some bumps kind of opening on the straightaway, and the pipe kind of had like a weird shape to it. It would be round, and then it would kind of have a flat spot, and then kind of round out again. And it's just happened that I was kind of right where the bumps were. So
Just sucked
hit a
you
bump.
in.
I mean, I was, you know, like I said, yeah, I was going for it. We were pretty much tied going into the last lap. And yeah, hit the bump a little bit, sucked me in, bounced off the pipe, and I went straight left. And my options were either slow down, turn right, and go down the straightaway, or go through pit lane. So I decided to not let off and go through pit lane. Went through pit lane and then jumped back onto the straightaway from pit lane and finished my race. I probably could have just, honestly, I probably could have just stayed in pit lane, but I was going pretty fast through up the ramp of pit lane, and there wasn't really like any bar or anything, so I would have probably launched pretty far. So took a right, exited off pit lane, got back onto the freeway, and took the next exit and came in on the backside.
You did a poor job merging, but yeah, you made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The overall race weekend, it didn't come easy. I was telling Dakotah I like challenge. I like being able to uh, kind of grind things out and look for a better result in the end. I hate when we go on top and we just kind of slowly start fading. You know, I like to actually climb the ladder through the weekend, and it's a better kind of a high when you hit the mains. It's always a bad feeling when you start off fast and then you start tapering off and you get slower, and then you're fighting to stay on the podium, and then you know you're in the top 5. It's like, man, that was a tough weekend, you know. But when you have a tough weekend first and you bounce back and you start to pick up speed and you build momentum, it's a lot more fun and enjoyable. And to be able to kind of like work together and figure out the cars, figure out the problems, and be able to function as a team and get the results and improve. You know, to me, even if we don't win, I think it's a good feeling to have to end the weekend on a high versus end the weekend on a low, and it always kind of helps build momentum for the races coming up. So here's a picture of our pits set up. We just got pits set up, and everybody's kind of getting things dialed in. We had a pretty good pit area. It was actually supposed to extend further on the left, and we have 2 tents, but unfortunately, we weren't able to set up there and get full use of the pit area, but everything worked out pretty well in the end. XT here, this is our Brad Rippies, looking cool. Like the yellow, the flame. What is this? Are these flames? What do you call this, Dakotah?
It's almost like
What is
tears.
Tear? Okay, so it's
you know what I mean. It reminds me, you know what I mean, like a rip, like ripping part of the body away or something. You
makes
know,
sense.
with a
Brad
different
Rippy.
color underneath.
It's ripping apart.
Ripping. I like it.
Sorry, that was a really
there's a lot that goes into the body design.
that was a really corny joke, but yeah, I love his paint job. Looks cool. Truck looks awesome. His first time out with it, had a great time. Did by far the better in the nitro truggy class than any of his buggy classes. He was kicking butt in truggy. Here's the driver stand. Awesome unit. This year they didn't have the shaky driver stand that Southern Nats is so famous for. They usually they have this really tall driver stand, and it's just really shaky and wavy. This time they built it on top of the grandstand here on the side, and didn't have to build something super high, and it worked out actually a lot better. Pits for the Rippies here, all 3 cars. I love it when they have 3 cars and everybody's got matching paint. Looks cool. Here's a before your truggy practice, you and Seth getting ready here, and then Brad was running right after you. This is a photo of Dakotah taking second place qualifying like round. This is round one qualifier. He finished second. I'm like, hey man, let me get a photo, and he's like, Dakotah didn't want to do this photo, man. He's not down for posing for seconds and thirds and fourths, but I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. We got to put something up. So being a good spirit there. And, we're grinding here. So Anthony's over here working. Dakotah's working on his stuff. We're kind of get his stuff better. These are TQ shots that I was getting ready that we weren't able to use for TQ. We tried, got very close, and almost did it. So here is Caden Fuller winning both the e-buggy and intermediate nitro truggy class. He had a wicked weekend, man. I love watching Caden race.
Really good weekend.
Yeah, what do you've watched Mason and Caden race now through the years as they're coming up. What do you notice about their driving styles, and what do you think of how they pilot the car?
Yeah, they actually drive a lot different. Which
totally different.
I feel like normally when you see brothers, whenever you see brothers for whatever reason, that's kind of how it is. They usually drive complete opposite of each other, and yeah, they're both great drivers. They have a lot of talent. That they both have been really picking up on the 8-scale scene this year and putting in solid results. And it was cool to see. I was actually marshaling when Caden was running the Truggy main, and he actually fell not crazy far back, but he was probably a good, probably almost like 10 seconds back after the first 7 minutes or so of the race. Kind of fell back a little bit, had some mistakes, and he was able to figure out the track, get back into his rhythm. And when other people started to fade a little bit and make mistakes, he was able to just stay solid, get up front, and was really just solid. Once he got in front, people would catch him and then make mistakes and fall back. And he was just always there, just putting in the laps.
Well, you said rhythm. How important is rhythm in nitro racing?
Yeah, it's really important. It can make a 30-minute race feel like 10 minutes, or it can make a 30-minute race feel like an hour. If you're not in a rhythm, it takes forever for the race to finish. It just goes on and on and on. And if you get into a rhythm, it goes by really quick. It's funny. Normally, you'll make more mistakes in the first 5 minutes of a race. Say it's an hour-long race, you'll make more mistakes in the first 5 minutes than you will the next 55 minutes, because once you get into rhythm, you just keep on clicking, and things don't come. I don't want to say things come easy, but they definitely come easier because you're just flowing. You know what you're doing, and like I said, it kind of just clicks on and on. So especially with nitro racing, with the longer mains, you really, really got to get into a rhythm and get going. And generally, you'll see the first, the top, usually between two to four people that will get into rhythm early, and they'll have usually a pretty decent lead over the rest of the field. And then once the 5 through 6 or whatever it may be kind of figured out, then they maybe might start to catch up the midway towards the end of the race. But generally, there's that group of people that get into a rhythm quickly and early on in the race, and they kind of just cruise around, and everyone else is pushing and making mistakes and just falls farther and farther back, because once you make one mistake in the beginning, you're back in the field, you're battling out, everyone's beating on each other. You're just constantly losing time. So it's so important to be in that lead group, and you're not really going crazy fast in the beginning. Like I said, you're kind of just driving around and not making those mistakes, not beating on each other. Generally, the top 2 or 3 people will be very, very patient with each other. We're not trying to pass each other. We're honestly just trying to get a gap on the rest of the field. Whatever, if it's the top 2 or the top 3, whatever it may be, we're trying to get a gap in the rest of the field. That way, if we make a mistake, we drop 1 position, not 8 positions.
Yeah, it's something that a lot of 8-scale guys talk about. 10-scale guys, they talk about it too, but it doesn't seem to be such an emphasis, because maybe the races are 5 minutes versus sometimes nitro, an hour long. So the rhythm, like you said, is very important. And I always hear the nitro guys talk about, oh, I kind of fell out of rhythm and I just couldn't get back into it. It's like, how important is that? And it sounds like it in nitro,
Yeah.
it's very, very important.
Yeah, especially in a bumpy track, if you fall out of rhythm, it's very, very hard to get back into that rhythm, and usually just kind of the mistakes compound on top of themselves.
All right, there's Mason. Okay, so those who don't know, Mason is a painter now. He hasn't really advertised or anything like that. So he's painting his bodies, his friends' bodies, his Brad's body. Like, he's a painter now. I don't know if you guys know this. So Mason Fuller paints bodies. He's getting actually very good. I'm liking what I'm seeing. He's got different color shading going on. He's enjoying it. He's making some side money. He's getting involved, helping people. So if you guys need a quickie body, hit up Mason Fuller, man. Give him a shot because I'm impressed. He's getting better each time he's out. I see the body, and each time he's each rendition he does for somebody else, it seems to me it seems like he's clearly getting better. And it's cool to see that he has painting talent, and that he could fall back as a painter and skip out on being a driver. So here is your wife. This is the main, and she's getting ready. We don't have the headsets on, so she's looking at you, looking for signals to see if you need to make any final adjustments. You'll give her like the or some sort of hand signal,
Yeah.
and she can make the adjustment. So she's looking at you. You're probably looking down at her, kind of getting maybe shaking off, getting loose, getting ready. Some people kind of do you have a pre-race thing? Because some people, like, I think Cavalier is he's always licking. Like, before the race, you can see these guys. Like, some dudes have like these things that they do. Some guys kind of do. I think Mayfield does once in a while does a shoulder thing, and then before the main,
Yeah,
and then
he
kind of
does
get
his
in a
dance
position
because I
ready to go.
stand next to him. Yeah, he does his dance whenever he comes to the pit. He does his
Yeah,
little
yeah, he
his little
does.
dance, wake up the legs. I really what I'll do normally before the start of the main is I'll just wipe off my left hand, what I'm gripping the radio with, on my pants. Make sure it's not sweaty or anything like that. Make sure it's as dry as possible, and then normally just take a breath before the tone goes off and get in the zone.
Yeah. So wipe off the hands, make sure they're not all juicy, and then get ready to go. The zone, man. That's it, the zone. All right, so here's a team photo we had. This is Nico up front. Great to race with him. Ran Sportsman, had some great success. Some up and downs, but it's good to see him at a big race. This is his first big nitro race, so it's cool to see. He's very excited. Was to hang out with the rest of the crew. We were super pumped to have him around. This is the Morrisons, brother Ken and Morrison. They came from California. Friends of Jose came down, and I was able to help them out and check on them and see if everything was okay. They won 3rd place and 5th place in Sportsman Nitro Chuggy class. So they had a great time. They were super stoked. It was fun being around with these guys. I've never met them before. They're privateers. And I told Jose, I'll check on them, make sure they're running good. They had a great time, lots of energy. I love seeing that. So, good luck to these guys in the future, and hopefully they can start kicking some butt, and then they can join the team. All right, so we've got more driver stand photos. Here's a photo of the track getting on the straightaway. It's kind of hard to tell because of the color. It kind of blends in here a little bit, but lots of holes, lots of just craters just getting on the straightaway. So here, straightaway, butter smooth, and then you get here, dusty, blown out, cars are hopping, skipping, flipping. This section at the end of the race was so hard, and every time Dakotah or if any of my guys go through this section, I'm holding my breath, hoping they don't get messed up here, because it just will come out and flip your car down the straightaway, and you're kind of in the middle down here, and there's no real corner marshals, so you lose a lot of time. Tough track for sure. All right, me and Chloe, first time we are actually teamed up to pit you. I had a lot of fun. I'm glad I didn't have to hold the stopwatch. That makes me very tense, nervous. I have a lot of things going on in my mind if I'm holding the stopwatch. So Chloe was doing the stop and calling you in the pits and making sure all that stuff is good. So it was nice for her to do that, and I was just catching and helping out on the catching side. So my first time doing this at a big race for Dakotah, and being a part of the pit crew. So slowly integrating myself. Not that I would be a bad person as a pit guy. It's just I honestly just feel like I want to have the best team in there to help Dakotah win. If it includes me, if it doesn't, that's okay. If there's a better pit person that I feel will do a better job than me, I have no problems telling them, "Hey, dude, do you mind pitting Dakotah? Because I want the best opportunity to win at these races." So the first time, I thought it went very well. She called you in.
Yeah.
I caught the trucks, put you down. Everything was smooth sailing. Never had any issues in the pits, which is awesome. That's a win in on its own. And she did great, man. I'm watching her. She, pulling the thing, putting the gun in, the fuel gun in, and putting the gas in, and doing all that. She wasn't nervous. She wasn't jittery. She wasn't, she was super smooth, super confident, and it was easy to do. To be honest, like I thought we would have, some minor issues or some mishap, just because of something happening, but nothing happened and everything went well. It was fun, dude. I had a fun time
Yeah,
pitting,
she has.
honestly.
Yeah, it's cool down there. It's cool to pit. She has a lot of experience. I mean, she's pitted me at pretty much every level, from practicing club racing to she's pitted me at the world championships before. So she has a lot of experience doing it. She knows how to get it done, and that's why she's down there. She puts in a lot of effort and works hard, and wants to make sure she does a good job. And I think you guys did an awesome job. Like you said, there's no instances or anything like that. Everything was super smooth. The pit stops were super quick, and they were consistent, which is the important part.
Yeah.
Caught good. You guys worked well together, which people don't think about. But that extra tenth or two, picking up the car and setting it where the fueler is able to get the fuel gun in quickly and stuff. That whole transition is really where you can make up or lose time. So it's not complicated, but there's a lot to it, and it's hard not to get amped up and excited and go a little bit too fast, and grab the fuel tank puller and have it slip off or miss, or when you throw the fuel stick in, have it not go directly onto the tank and line it up perfectly. So it's really important. I always tell her, just be intentional, be quick, but make sure that you're intentional and every movement has a purpose, and just being smooth and consistent.
Yeah, I was like, every time she's like, "All right, Dakotah's coming in this lap." So I would do the yelling because I don't know. I was maybe because my voice is a little bit bigger. I don't think so, but I would just walk up and I'm like, "Dakotah pit," and then you'd nod, and then that was it. And then I'd just roll up my sleeves, game time, boom, and yeah, it was fun. I had a great time pitting. I enjoyed it. I'm sure if I held the stopwatch and did the calling in, I would be a lot more stressed, just because I would really have to be like paying attention to so many things, and it would be very stressful. Just holding the watch is stressful. Being a helper guy, that's really easy. So here's the podium photos. Kane just ripping it up. Took the e-buggy intermediate class win. That was super awesome to see. Oh man, there's my man. Super serious. Everybody has a different look when they're driving RC cars, This is Alex Gwynn. He's got the serious, like the focused eyes, man. Like I think I probably look really retarded. Yeah, I probably look really stupid while I'm driving. Some people look really cool, and some people you can't tell they're even doing anything. They just look normal. Some people are very kind of focused and getting in there and just following the car super, like just yeah, intense, and then some people just look like they're just out there for just driving the car, so everybody's a little bit different. Dakotah, you seem you look pretty normal. Like you just look like you're holding the radio, and that's about it.
Yeah,
Like you're
nothing
not.
nothing too crazy.
Yeah,
My
there's
my favorite
I can't.
is yeah.
I can't make any bad jokes or any comments about it. Unfortunately, you're pretty normal. Who's your
I won't
favorite?
go into any details, but my favorite is Kevin Morales.
Oh,
That's all I'll say. Hopefully he's out
Kevin
here watching.
Morales.
He'll get a good laugh. But
Oh
yeah.
man, I don't know. I don't know who Kevin is. Um, man, now you got me curious, dude. Okay, Seth Rippey just jump in. Things looking dialed. Um, truck was awesome, man. They had a great time with it. First time Seth has been able to run it. Anthony Westergaard coming into a turn. I love his paint job, man. I think it's sick. It looks cool. There's something about having the USA flag, kind of, um, kind of somewhat how blended in, so it's not the main thing, but it's in there. I really like that. I really like how they integrate the red, white, and blue, the stripes and the stars, and be able to kind of mesh that into a paint style where it doesn't, some guys have the whole flag, it just the car body's just all red, white, and blue. But some of the dudes like Cole Ogden, Anthony Westergaard, they have their paint scheme, but somehow they kind of secretly put in the red, white, and blue, and it looks sick. And I think Anthony's paint job has that done in there on the top. It looks awesome, man. Oh, there's the P1 body, the Dakotah Phend, rocking on J Concepts here. Oh, I thought this was a cool picture. It's Wiggins going on the inside of that drop down. That was definitely a place that you can pass people, man. The little K and TQ there, a little second place or something right there. So I learned, I was like, okay, Dakotah's not going to want to pose. He doesn't want to be in the picture. I'll just take a picture of his buggy and post it, and that
Yeah,
way I
that's a
don't
cool
have to
picture.
ask. That way I don't have to ask him. All right, so the pit crew, the lineup, everybody kind of getting ready. You've already kind of set your tune. You're in line, and Dakotah's got a thing here. He has a towel over his engine. Um, uh, any particular reason why, Dakotah? Is that just kind of like your thing, what you're comfortable doing, or?
I just think it helps keep the heat in. It makes it when my engines are always heated up before they're started, and then it's hard to keep the engines at or close to racing temp when they're just sitting there idling. You give it a little bit of gas. So the towel just helps keep the heat in there. It makes it when I tune it that it's a little bit more
Closer
exact
to race?
and pretty much
Okay.
like exact. Yeah, it's pretty much already at race temp. And then when I go out there, the motor doesn't need cleaned out for the first lap and doesn't really heat up. It's already at temperature and it's ready to go.
There you go. He's one of the only dudes that has a towel over his engine in the warm-ups. Um, that's what I've noticed. Everybody does it normal. Dakotah likes to put the towel over the engine. Um, everybody does it a little bit different for different reasons. Now you know why Dakotah does it. All right, here's a cool view from down below, looking up. I thought this really big fan thing was kind of cool. There is Alex Gwynn. Good to see him. First time to meet him in person. Super helpful. Really nice guy. I loved hanging out with him. Good old Mason. Here's a Sarah Fuller, Mason's mom. There's Brad Horsch and Mason together. There is Chloe in the pits, kind of wondering what the heck Dakotah's doing. Dakotah's just being Dakotah. Anthony Westergaard, and it's another one. You guys like doing these silly poses in photos when you're not the
Yeah,
main photo person. There's Chloe, kind of like, look at that. Yeah, photo
yeah. I
bombing,
think we were talking about
always
the
good.
fly trap.
There's Peyton Puckett, my man. Good to meet him for the first time as well. Dude, Mr. Chapman, Robert Chapman in the house. Philo Hatch, the first time I met him, super nice guy. Really look forward to the next time we get to race with Philo. Philo. Seth, kind of giving me the blue steel look here. Super smiley, always smiling, dude. I haven't hung out much
Yep.
with Brad until recently, and he's a lot of fun, man. Great personality,
Yeah, definitely.
easy going, super cheery. Here's one of my favorite photos of the weekend. This is when I think you're about ready to go race your main or something like that. And she's just walking back to the pit lane, getting ready to pit or get in position to pit. Little Brad action. See, he's got some serious look thing. You could tell him to do something about that mustache or.
Yep.
It's a jump photo. Didn't get too much time doing photos. So this is where I was. So I'm here shooting this photo, and then I can zoom in. So you see behind the truck is where you guys are. And then this is the zoom in photo cropped up. So I was able to kind of actually use that position to do 2 photos there. Man, I haven't met him before. First time we had a little conversation. Coming back from running, taking a break a few years, and he's back. I forget his name, but it was nice to get reacquainted, I guess, and see him back and in racing, full time or part time or back racing. I guess is the most important thing. Mason and Mike Foley getting ready to top off and get ready to set him down for the race. There it is, red, white, and yellow with the, the red, white, and blue with the stars and stripes, kind of hidden in the top of his car. It's kind of nice to have that done. I thought about doing it myself, putting red, white, and blue in there with stars and stripes. Every way I did it, I thought it just looked terrible, and I was like, oh man, I just these look terrible. It's not doing the flag justice. It's not doing the paint justice. And never rocked it though. Maybe one of these days, if I ever decide to add it, it would be kind of cool. There we go, Truggy. Okay, let's talk about the Truggy just a bit here. What did you think overall, man?
Yeah, the Truggy. I mean, it's been solid everywhere we go. This is the most I've changed the truck this race. Like I said, for whatever reason, just I think myself personally just wasn't feeling crazy comfortable on the surface. I made a couple changes and actually made some changes going into the main event, and it was definitely the right direction. The truck was the best that had been all weekend long. Super solid, easy to drive, and got a good start. Me and Ryan were battling for the first third of the race or so, and it was a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, it was good in the mains. Definitely the pace was there and you were able to battle. That was fun to watch. Like kind of reminded me of your battle with Mayfield at DNC, your battle with Mayfield at the other races this year so far in Truggy. He's been very close, and
Yep.
probably your main competitor right now in Truggy. And it was awesome to be able to watch you get around and hold the pace and be able to, because we were probably a little bit down on pace, but by the mains, I think it was pretty fair, and maybe you even had the fastest Truggy out there.
Yeah, I had good by the time the mains came around, I had good pace in all the vehicles.
Yeah.
Truggy was, like I said, I was able to get a good start. Buggy, I had a good start. Nitro Buggy, I had a good start, and just made a few mistakes. Got out of my rhythm, like I said, and lost that lead group. And then kind of, I don't want to say it's over at that point, but it's very hard to make up that amount of time. You make a mistake, you're 5 seconds back, and then you're pushing. You make up a second, 2 seconds, and then you make another mistake, and then you're 8 seconds back, and then all of a sudden you're not in the race anymore. But Nitro Buggy was good as well in the main. E-Buggy was the last main, really came alive. It was awesome in A2. I had a ton of speed. I was able to push the car a ton for how rough the track is. There's kind of 2 different sides. The left side was like racing on a high grip, smooth surface, and the right side was blown out, dusty, low grip, no groove. It was kind of crazy. There was literally just like a line going down the track, and one side was one surface, the other side was the other surface. And like I said, the E-Buggy was really, really good in A2. I was very happy with it. I was able to push the car a lot, which normally when the track is bumpy, you're just trying to survive, but was able to push. Knew I had to go really fast with Ryan's A1 time. The track was obviously quite a bit slower in A2 with how rough the track is. It was dustier, and was trying to do everything I could, but I don't think it was possible. So did what we could in A2, and ended up with a decent weekend and good results. Good results overall. Was able to finish up on the podium and everything.
Yeah. yeah, first in Nitro Truggy, second in Pro E Buggy, and third in Nitro Buggy. I think that's a pretty good weekend, man. I know you want to win everything, and that's not easy to do. But I think hitting the podiums, the main podiums, first, second, third, anytime, any big race where all the guys basically at, I think that's a phenomenal accomplishment. Of course, I would love to see you win everything, and I'm sure you would love to win everything, but that's just honestly just almost impossible to do. But right now,
Yeah.
you know, I think one big win out of the race weekend is quite an accomplishment. In the past few events, we've had 2 wins and a second or something like that. That's just an exceptional weekend. You know, that's to me a bonus. Um, but yeah, being able to come and show up and compete and finish on all the podiums, I think that's definitely an outstanding weekend. Um, all right, so that's going to wrap up the Southern Nationals. We're going to quickly talk about the Victory RC race. Tell me about this. So, you guys got invited to come, and you decided, well, you know, I've already raced 2 weekends in a row, like heavy, had a long road trip. I'm kind of cooked. I'm gonna let my wife race. I'm gonna be pit guy. Is that how it went down, or?
Yeah, she's like, "Hey, I want to race," and I'm like, "Okay, awesome. You know, we'll get the car ready to go, pull it off from the shelf, dust it off because it's been sitting there for a little while, and you know, get it ready to go." And I love racing. I really honestly enjoy driving, uh, but I don't get to really enjoy the races anymore. You know, obviously it's still a great
Yeah.
time going to the big races. You know, I love racing, love hanging out with everybody, but it's different when it's your career and when it's your job, and you know
Yep.
that's how you make a living and that's how you survive. So it was nice to be able to go and have no pressure and just enjoy the people, enjoy hanging out with everybody, seeing everyone catching up. You know, I was in Indiana, a couple hours from home, so a lot of locals, a lot of people that I grew up racing with, and it was absolutely awesome. I had a blast. Like I said, I was able to hang out, helped a lot of people. I pitted for a lot of people, and it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. Chloe, this is the first time that she actually raced this year, so it's been quite a while. So it was cool to see her back out there, you know, just running and having fun with
And
it, and
and running
it
nitro
was a
of
good
all
time.
things,
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
that's what she likes. Nitro buggy. That's what
Yeah.
she wants to do. So we got her hooked up. She was doing well over 10 minutes with the fuel mileage. So I was making
What?
sure I always get really nervous. I always get really nervous when I'm pitting because I don't have control, especially when we're doing those 10-minute stops. So I was probably over tuning the motor, making sure that it was ripping, and it was fun. It was interesting because I could actually the motor tune was actually a lot different than what I would tune for myself, just with the different driving styles and stuff.
Hmm.
I was able to tune her motor like super lean, and for her it wouldn't run on at all, and would still actually load up a little bit, but it was probably about like 6 hours too lean for me. I would have been
What?
pinging around the track the whole time and running on crazy. So it was
Because
actually kind of fun to tinker with that a little bit and kind of learn and adjust the tune for her driving.
because she's not in the throttle as much as you, you can run it leaner.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, I
I
was
don't,
running it a lot leaner. It was like I said, it was actually running on a little bit on the bench, but when she gets out there and is driving around, it wasn't running on her at all. It was idling really good, and she was getting some really good fuel mileage. I don't know if I want to share with you guys how good a fuel mileage. You know, she might be racing with you guys in the future. Don't want to give away all the secrets, but it was some good fuel mileage out there. So
So are you nervous for when you're watching her race? You're like, oh, what? Oh. Like, are you into it, or are you just like, all right, Pitt? And I mean, like,
no, I'm definitely into it. I think it probably helps that she's really into my racing as well. So
yeah.
I wanna be there for her and support her, and make sure that you know she does as good as she can, and that you know I'm not hindering that experience. But definitely, don't get nervous or anything because she's just out there for fun, and I know that. But definitely when we were doing the 10-minute main, I kept checking my stopwatch and like, man, like she'll pull the throttle a little bit over jump a jump. I'm like, oh man, you just wasted that. There's half a cc of fuel you just wasted. Like, I'm like thinking of like, but no,
and then she's upside down.
She
You're like,
managed
oh, you're
just
wasting
fine.
more
So
fuel.
yeah,
Like, oh no, she's
but no,
wasting
it
fuel,
was
dude.
good. She made it.
Stop.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
on me because I'm the one that's been tuning it. I'm the one that's been checking the mileage and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can do
She's
10
putting
minutes.
trust in
So
you,
if
man.
she doesn't do 10 minutes, then it's on me. Yeah.
Yeah. She's putting the trust in you.
So
If
last
you're
year,
running her out of fuel,
yep,
it's your fault. It's gonna be a long ride home.
yep, yeah. Last year for the Kings race at State Line, obviously it was the last Kings and stuff, and it actually really sucked. So the only way she was going to get the bump spot is if she did the 10 minutes and didn't pit.
Mm.
And we had the headsets and stuff. And once we got 5 or 6 minutes in, I'm like, we can pit you, but you're not going to get the bump spot. If we do 10 minutes and you don't pit, then you got a chance to bump up. So we went for it, and she flamed out
Ooh.
like with 2 corners to go. So that sucked. Did not happen again this year. There's actually it happened to Joe Laws, which sucked. He was on. He was probably about 5 feet from the line. He didn't even have a corner left to get around. It was right there in front of him. It sucked. He was wiggling his wheels like trying to get there, and it's like, man, there's nothing worse than that.
Oh man, dying out right before the pit, like, or right for the start finish line. Oh man. So, is there any tips that you could give to pit guys, from your perspective? What are some of the things that you see people doing wrong when they're pitting people?
The first thing that comes to mind, because it really bothers me, is making sure that if you have a headset that you put the microphone up. You don't have to leave it down. I mean, maybe some people, they don't care, but me, I'm like, put your microphone up. Put your microphone up if I'm driving, because it's very distracting to me. Vital information only, or the mute button will be hit. But yeah,
so I can't have like a
something I would say, like,
I can't have a conversation like, oh, dude,
sure.
why you blowing that turn, bro? Like, come on, I can't say anything.
Yeah,
I'll get muted.
Yeah, you just gotta know the person you're pitting a little bit, and if they don't care if you talk to them, then awesome. If they do, just kind of be aware of that and make sure that microphone is getting pushed up.
So when you're racing,
I mean, like I said, just
when you're racing, do you want information back? Do you want certain information to help you?
Generally, as a driver, if I ask for it, sometimes I'll ask.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I'll ask about like, hey, am I catching this person? We can generally kind of see where we're at and if we're catching a person, but sometimes I'll ask for like, hey, like, is it like, am I making up 2/10 here? Am I making up 5/10? Is it every lap? Or where are we at? Every once in a while, maybe like in qualifying and stuff, might be something we just talk about after the race, but just watching the other drivers and being aware of if they're doing a different line or picking up on lines and things like that. But generally when I'm driving, especially in the main and stuff, I don't really need a ton of information. I usually can see where I'm at compared to others pretty well. Obviously calling me into pit is important. And there's a time and place for everything. Sometimes I'll ask for, if we're stretching the pit stops, I'll ask for an update on the fuel mileage, how close I am, how much I can push, and things like that, just so that I'm aware, able to turn it up or turn it down, depending on the mileage. But usually not anything too crazy for the most part. Just doing my thing out there, and once I get into a rhythm that I'm comfortable with, I'll do that pace. If I need to go a little bit faster, we'll do what we can. But yeah, I normally talking just distracts me and gets me out of the zone.
Okay. Um, as a driver and you see, you come in or pit guy or whatever, what do you expect or what do you want from your pit guy besides, a smooth, good pit? Like, um, you know, like, is there anything special that you're hoping them to do? Is there a basic criterion? Okay, they got to just be able to do this, this, and this. Like, what is your expectation as a good pit person? What should they, what things should they do? What things should they focus on in becoming a better pit person?
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of like the main things. Having a plan is very important. If there's two pit guys, having a plan with the catcher versus the fueler,
Yep.
how that whole situation is going to work up, where the car is going to get set down, how the fuel's going to go, and where all the arms are going to be, because there's four arms in one car, and you see it all the time. People don't really talk about it, and there's arms all over the place, and things like that. So just usually I'll go over the basics. This is the game plan. If I'm pitting with someone, I usually will take the vehicle, and depending on from the catcher or fueler, we'll kind of just do a quick simulation.
Yep.
The person who's fueling usually is the one who's like, this is what I need. This is where the truck needs to be. This is where your arms need to be, and this is what I expect. Get that figured out. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And then, like I said, just being intentional with the pitting. You want to go fast, but you need to be in control, not too amped up. Just do your thing. Get the feel in the car. Get it full. Look before the car gets set down. I see that all the time. Just cars getting blasted and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
All the
and
time.
when it's time, if we're coming in with someone else, then it's on you guys. Bring it. As long as everyone's trying their best, that's all I can ask for.
Yeah.
Biggest thing for me is trust. I'm already stressed out enough about the track and trying to do my job. I don't want to be worrying about the pit stops coming in and getting flamed out, getting half a tank of fuel, things like that. So just really
Yeah.
having trust in the people who are pitting me is very important because it keeps me calm. I know when I come in, that's my time. That should be my time to take a second and take a breath, do what I need to do, wiggle out my arms, get some feeling back in my feet, and just take a mental break. It's not the time for me to be worrying about. Hopefully, the person knows where the fuel tank is, and all that fun stuff. So that's my time. Take a break, and you know, do the pick
The
guys do
three
their thing, I do my thing, and hopefully it works out.
3 or 4 second break. It's not a long break, man. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like, yeah,
No.
you catch the car, I put it down, the fuel goes in, I put you back out, and it's not really that long from start to finish, like where you could actually, kind of let go of the whole controller and not do anything. It's probably only lasting 3 seconds at most, and then
Yeah,
there's
I mean
obviously
the pit stops are 5 seconds, and that's
yeah,
from
what
enter
the
to exit. So
yes, yeah,
that's
that's
yeah.
from start to beginning. So like the rest time that you get is like 3 seconds, and by the time you roll in and then you get dropped out, it's 5 seconds total. But there's not really much downtime, And if you make a bad pit entrance, like somebody's coming out and hits you, or something crazy happens, then it really doesn't even become any kind of rest time. It becomes panic mode, and oh shoot, somebody get my
Yep.
car, and you're trying to get off other people's car to go to your pit spot and be able to get fuel and stuff. It can get really hectic, but yeah, I had a great time. It was a good experience. I remember I asked Dakotah, hey man, do you want me to do this? Like, do you want somebody else? I'm okay if you want to swap me out. I'll do some video or do some photos, or do something else. And you're like, well, Dakotah's answer was, well, you guys are going to have to start sooner or later. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Okay, we're in. Let's do it. And then after that point, I grabbed Chloe, and I'm like, okay, let's figure out, where you want to stand, where I want to stand, which way you want the car, and we kind of walked through a simulation on a table. And I'm like, okay, so truck's coming in this way. Where do you want to be? So she's like, well, I'll be on the left side, you be on the right side, and when you place them down, move your arm. And so we kind of had a little game plan, like you said. we went through a little rehearsal practice, and made sure we kind of both knew our roles, and then it was Truggy main. A main was our first go at it, and it went pretty good. Like not bad.
Yeah,
So
that went really well.
the pits went well. We were super fast, and I could tell from the gaps because you and Mayfield were pretty dang close on the first pit stop, and I think he had a little bit of trouble coming in, but ours was super
Yeah.
smooth. And then the gap that you were able to get just out of pit lane, like you maybe had like a second and a half, maybe 2 second lead at that point, and then
Hmm.
it kind of jumped up from there, leaving and just going through the pit lane. So it made a big difference to have a smooth, consistent pit stop, and versus an erratic, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, sometimes issues, sometimes no issues. It was much better to be solid and smooth, and I think I was helping Mike Fuller pit for Mason as well, and Caden. And Mike did it differently. I was catching, but I would stand on the left side of him, and he would feel on the right side. He
Okay.
was more comfortable doing that. And the
Hmm.
orientation of the car was different. When I did it for Chloe, it was
Yeah, just turn it
long,
sideways.
yeah, long wise. And then when I did it for Mike, he
Yep.
wanted the car the other direction where it's kind of like this, and then he puts the gun
Yep.
in on the other side. So it worked a little different, but the results are still the same. We worked out how did a little practice run and got up to speed, had a game plan. He knew what he was doing, I knew what I was doing. And then when Mason came in, man, he came in hot too. Like you came in really smooth and easy, like 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 you should. Like it wasn't slow. You were coming in smooth. You drove up. I grabbed your car, put you down. Mason would just come sliding in, locking the brakes, and I would have to catch him literally.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he slides off the ramp,
Yeah.
and I catch him, put him down, and he's just full gas right when the fuel's done. When the gun gets lifted, he's a wah, and then I'm setting him down, and we had a different system there, but working with Mike, I realized that there's actually people like to do it differently, and not every pit person likes to do it the
Yep.
same. So understanding that and working with that and working with him, I figured that out, and working with Chloe, I figured that out too. So everything was pretty good, man. I was super stoked for the pit side of stuff, and to me, just being a team manager and being a part of the team, I felt like I was doing something. No, you know what I mean? Like I was actually
Yeah.
involved in the racing program versus just kind of setting up the tents and kind of organizing things and talking to people. I actually felt like a little more part of the race team per se, and be able to be part of the result and outcomes, the outcome in a little different way. So it was really cool. So so that
Yeah,
wraps
it's
it
it's
up.
cool. I did a little bit of pitting. I did a
Yep.
little bit of pitting at Southern Nats too with Brad and Seth because they were up quickly,
Yeah.
and it's always fun to be a part of it. And then I did a lot of pitting at Victory because I wasn't racing. I
Yep.
pitted Chloe, I pitted Brad, who I pitted Tater in the main or helped pit Tater a little bit. And it's fun. It's fun to be a part of someone else's race program, to be there, for be a play a small little part in their success and
Yeah.
what position they're in, and it's enjoyable.
Yeah. It's like if eh, helping people, man. Helping people achieve something that they really want to be good at, or to do. They really want to do this. They really want to race, and you can help them out when they can, and it feels good, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy being able to assist them and allow them to enjoy racing even more. As a team manager, that's become kind of my thing now. Before, doing the social media coverage and all that stuff, obviously I was kind of focused on trying to do more social media stuff. Now it's like working with the team guys, the drivers, trying to figure out what they need in order to do better. And it's been kind of fun to try to figure that out and put the pieces of the puzzle together. And
Mhm.
it's a different experience for me, working with you and working with the rest of the TLR guys. It's been pretty awesome. And yeah, I'm looking forward to our next race, and excited for Masters of Dirt. Brent's all pumped up. He's going full bore, and it's going to be an awesome race. The TLR team, we're going to be there in full force. It's going to be awesome to have that unity and to have that team aspect there, more so than any other 10th scale race, I think, for the rest of the year. So it should be pretty good times. But I think that's it, man. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the Victory RC or pitting in general, or your pit experience?
Yeah, just a victory, like I said, was a lot of fun. It's a great place. They do a great job there, and track looked like a lot of fun. Super technical. There was some really good racing, and yeah, like I said, it was just nice to just kind of hang out with everybody and enjoy the racing atmosphere. Enjoy catching up with people that I might not have time to catch up with if I'm racing. And it was great Sunday. Everyone's getting their cars ready. I sat down in my chair, leaned back, and it's like I don't have anything to do. This is nice. I'm just sitting here chilling. So
when when is the last time you were at a race but didn't race?
man, it's been a long time. Maybe like at State Line, maybe last year, like once. I think I probably did all the racing there. But I used to, 2, 3 years ago, I'd go up sometimes when they're having like a series race or something and just kind of hang out. But definitely not a common occurrence. Doesn't happen very often. So I like
No.
to enjoy it when I can.
I mean, even for me, me being at a track, just driving, like for myself, that is a really rare occurrence these days. Usually I'm at a track because it's an event or a team thing or a
Yep.
practice session or a testing thing or something that's related to my job. For me to be at the track or at a club race and not be functioning as a team manager or as a team low C driver or as just a normal individual, that's been such a long time. Just to just to go to the track to play with my cars, just to drive my cars and not try to be
Yep.
there to help. Obviously I'll help other people, but I'm not there to be a team manager and try to recruit people or try to do all these. Just to be there to enjoy the experience of driving an RC car. It's been, I think I had that. I think 3 weekends ago, I had a Sunday. I went with Dale Best to Impact, and
Mm-hmm.
I just drove my four wheel for one full day, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., which is when they closed, and I had a blast. It was just fun, just do something different besides have it attached to
Yep.
work, and then just have fun with my toy cars and my buddies, and it was a blast, man. It really kind of fired me back up. I'm like, dude, this is fun. I can't wait for the next race, and it refreshes me every once in a while to remember why we do this and why it's fun, and hopefully to focus and keep it that way. But yeah.
Yeah.
So Dakotah, thanks a lot for coming on the show, talking about
Yep.
the races that we've had in the past, Turf Nationals. Great weekend for Dakotah and the TLR team. For a TQ, 2 wins. Southern Nationals, first, second, third. Pit guy last weekend for your wife. Sounds like you've had a pretty spectacular month, and I can't wait till we're already in October, but I can't wait till we start racing again and
Yep.
have another show that we can talk about. Some of the changes, some of the difficulties, some of the challenges, and how we deal with it. It's kind of fun to talk about and remember and retrace some of these things. And hopefully people can kind of learn from some of the experiences that we've had at these races, from the changes, the questions, the mental aspect, the thing that you just spoke about, the scrubbing of the cars and things like that. Those techniques, those things, from these interviews and from these talks, we can learn a lot from Dakotah as he shares it with us. And I appreciate it, Dakotah. Thanks for coming on the show. and talking about your race experience, and letting everybody know a little more in depth about how the process works for you. I know a lot of people are probably interested in on how you mentally approach things or how you deal with those pressure things as a professional. So it's always kind of a nice, cool aspect to learn from you. Thanks again, man, and thanks to everybody that has paid attention and been watching the shows. I know we took 2 to 3 weeks
Definitely.
off, and we're back doing this one, doing a little race recap. And I want to say thanks to everybody who comes back and watches this and makes comments, asks questions, being involved with us. It's a great thing. We want to give back to the community as much as possible and be able to help, be able to assist, be able to support people. This team is not just about a select few drivers. It's about the whole entire RC community. So if we can make a difference there, I'm definitely looking forward to pushing the team to be more integrated and more helpful with the community. Dakotah's doing this and helping out with the videos and getting some information from his experiences, his challenges, his changes and his adjustments to his setup and mental side of stuff. So it's great to see, and thanks everybody for tuning in. And next week we'll have another show. So Dakotah, thanks again. Any last words for everybody?
Yeah, just thanks for having me on. And like Thomas said, appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the support with these videos online, and just to support the races. It means a lot. And I enjoy doing these videos for you guys. So make sure if you're enjoying them, you're commenting, you're getting involved, and being a part of it. So thank you
Yeah.
guys. Hope that everyone has been having a great week and has a great weekend.
Yeah, stay safe out there. It's still pandemic, still COVID. I'm still hand sanitizing a ton. I wear a mask outside. We're still doing all that stuff. I got COVID tested when I came back, came out negative. So yeah, stay safe, be smart, and have fun. We'll catch you next time. See you guys.